You might notice that I am standing in very deep snow, and that would be because I live in the Midwest, and it's winter, but I didn't always.
Yep, that's me.
But I am not in Ohio here, like you might think.
Snow tubing in Florida.
Good morning, YouTube. It is 7:45. I've been up for 2 hours. I don't know if I've been up this early since high school. I am tired. It's kind of nice having the camera there in the passenger seat. Kind of feels like I got a little passenger to talk to. I'm talking to you, the viewer. Like, you know, you're along with me on the ride. Look at us, going on a little adventure together. Hell yeah. You guys like sitting in the car with me? Is it nice? Does it smell weird? It probably does. I hope you like that. So you might be wondering, Joe, you live in Florida. Why are you dressed like you don't? And there is a good reason for that. Well, there's a couple good reasons for that. First, it is currently about 43 degrees outside, despite me living in Florida. For me, a person who has lived in Florida for now 3 years, 43 degrees is pretty fucking cold.
Who'd have thought? A year later, and I'd be here.
The second reason, which is a better reason, is that I'm going sledding. Yep, snow tubing in Florida. Does it make sense? Not really. Do I know why? Not really. But we're doing it simply because why not, I guess. So one of the things that I'm really intrigued about when it comes to Snowcat Ridge is how real is the snow? Like, is it like in the end of the Drake and Josh movie when it's just like shredded Parmesan just being shot everywhere?
7,000 pounds of hard cheese!
Or is it like actual snow? That was gross. I'm sorry you had to witness that.
We have officially arrived at Florida's only snow park.
Snowcat Ridge opened at the beginning of 2020. You know what else happened at the beginning of 2020? Something very unfortunate for tourist attractions.
Coronavirus is causing serious disruption.
Disney closing up.
Several attractions are set to close.
Since then, it has soldiered on as a seasonal attraction here in Dade City. It's called an Alpine snow park, but I noticed something interesting about that description. If you haven't figured out what that is yet, I will give you a second to think about it. If you guess that there is a noticeable lack of snow, you'd be right, but I guess it is Florida after all, so I'm not really sure what I expected. At 9 a.m. sharp, I was released into Florida's winter wonderland, and there was a ton to take in.
The first thing I noticed, towering high above the horizon, was the tubing hill.
At first glance, I think they might have oversold it just a little bit by calling it snow tubing. It just kinda looked like smooth plastic followed by AstroTurf to me.
Also, as I watched the first groups of people descend the hill, it didn't really seem like they were going that fast.
Maybe it feels different when you're actually doing it. I guess we'll find out shortly, but first, let's explore a little. Next to this area is a food truck corral with a variety of options, but this did remind me of one of my pet peeves. I miss the days where food trucks were cool novelties where you could walk up and get a cheap taco from a rolling kitchen that would likely kill a health inspector. Now they're just a cheap gimmick to sell you overpriced nonsense. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Near the food court, I found a campfire. I decided to rest for a moment to warm my chilled hands. As I did, I stared into the flickering flames, thinking about the Roman Empire and its majesty, as men often do. But as all mighty things do, it fell victim to overexpansion, external pressures, and poor economic decisions. It's interesting how the Roman Empire's decline could be directly compared to the fall of the food truck. Once I concluded my ruminations, I found the ice skating rink. It seemed like a pretty standard ice skating rink, but I enjoyed the track layout, and it is impressive that it was completely outside and uncovered in Florida.
Though it is important to note that ice skate rental is not included with your admission. It's an additional $11.
So I decided to forego the skates, but you can bet that I would have pulled the meanest quadruple axle that Snowcat Ridge has ever seen. Moving on from the nickel and dime attraction, I found this large white orb that I can only assume holds eldritch horrors beyond my imagination. Unfortunately, there were no Lovecraftian monsters here, just
10,000 square feet filled with 250,000 pounds of snow.
and there would be no better place to do the Is It Real Snow test. So for a real comparison, this is real snow. See? It's very fluffy, very powdery, not really packed down. Kind of tastes like a snow cone.
How's the temperature? I can tell you that it is also very cold, much like snow. It passes. I will say, it is not like powder snow. If you are expecting powder snow, you will have a bad time. It is like whenever the snow piles high up north and then it sits there for a couple days and gets really hard and solid. That couple-day-old snow is in fact still real snow, so it passes. And finally, the most important category. Does it taste like snow?
It was at this moment I realized I just ate snow that disease-ridden children have been walking on and touching all morning. This might be worse than licking a Chuck E. Cheese playset after a first grader's birthday party.
Disclaimer, if you go here, do not eat the snow. They do not want you to do that, and the rules very clearly state do not do that. I am just a bad person. It does taste like snow. It tastes like hard snow. And so for that, it passes all three major categories, so I will say that it is real snow.
So congratulations to Snowcat Ridge for doing the impossible, creating real snow in Central Florida. And with that, I am going to leave this freezing cold, plague-ridden bubble. I think that I have held you in suspense long enough. With the conclusion of our very scientific experiment, let's finally check out Snowcat Ridge's primary attraction, the snow tubing hill. As you enter the line for the tubing hill, they make you watch a safety video that I honestly completely ignored. After that, you grab a tube and hop on what is essentially a conveyor belt, much like a burrito in the hit 2000s Food Network show, Unwrapped.
Once you get to the top of the hill, you dismount the continuously moving people mover. And I was told by one of the employees that my dismount could use some work. I am now embarrassed.
Once at the top, you will be directed to your tubing lane.
Once it is your turn, an employee will come, grab your tube from you, and place it onto a conveyor belt. Do not place it yourself. They do not like that, and they will yell at you.
I was genuinely worried that if I had tried, I would wake up the next morning in Guantanamo Bay, probably being waterboarded.
And then once everyone is in place, the conveyor belt will push you forward, much like your groceries at Walmart. After that, the real fun begins.
This is clearly fun, but did it feel like real snow tubing?
When watching from the bottom, no, it looked like they were going slow and looked kind of funky. But when you actually get to experience it for yourself, flying down the hill, the wind coursing through your beanie, your ass ascending from the tube with every single bump, and the sound of rubber scraping on ice. For just a split second, it is so real. That is until your tube contacts the AstroTurf and you are immediately reminded that you are in fact snow tubing in Florida.
After my adventures on the slopes, my 2-hour time slot was nearly over. So I made my way back to my car, which was waiting for me in a stupidly overpriced field.
And with that, I started my drive home, which gave me more than enough time to contemplate my day at Snowcat Ridge.
I did genuinely enjoy my day at Snowcat Ridge, despite the high entry cost and fees. I'd say the 2-hour time slot is perfect. Any more than that, you would just find yourself wandering around aimlessly. I would also like to note that I am clearly not the target market here. But there was one huge thing that confused me. What was up with the music choice at this park? Who wants to snow tube to Seven Nation Army? Ice skate to Rapper's Delight? Or enjoy a nice hot chocolate to Thunderstruck? It just felt very out of place to me and didn't match the vibe at all. I'd like to shout out the staff though, because every single person I encountered was incredibly friendly and helpful. But the main question here is, would I return? I mean, look, when you're used to snow tubing in situations like this, how could Snowcat Ridge reasonably compare? How could I expect it to hold my attention for any amount of time when I grew up in this? It just doesn't make sense. But I guess that's why I went, is just to see what it was like and see how it compared. And it didn't. Man, it is so goddamn cold. I'm knee deep in snow. This fucking sucks. I feel like I'm in the opening mission of Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, going to Florida for snow tubing is kind of just like going to a ski resort for its pool. Just doesn't really make sense in hindsight, does it? But if you're already there, I guess it's a cool option. but it doesn't really compare to this, don't you say? So if you can, maybe just come check this out. Come up to the Midwest. We got some snow for you, I'm sure. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave me a comment down below about a memory you have, with a snow day or snow tubing or whatever in your life. And thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, feel free to also subscribe and like. I'd appreciate it. And the snow is going right in my eyes. A lot of it's going in my eyes. A very significant amount of it. It is all blowing actually right in my eyes.